Hey guys, I'm Lily. Welcome to my channel for all you newbies, and welcome back to my channel for all my besties. So, I want to talk today about consistency. About, um, consistency is the key. Consistency is like super important in anything you want to get done. However, what you're consistent in matters. So, I realized that I can be consistent in a lot of things. I can be consistent in my nap time after work. I can be consistent in, you know, certain aspects of my routine. Like I'm really good about meditating, and I'm really good about listening to my sleep cast and clearing my mind before bed, and listening to things at bedtime that clear my mind instead of cluttering it up. But I'm not consistent in my whole routine, and that's not good. So, I acknowledge that I haven't been consistent in a lot of the positive things in my life, and I'm committing today in front of everybody to being consistent in the good stuff. I can be. He wants to come play with me. I can be like, let's take nutrition. I can be consistent in eating throughout the day and making sure that I'm not skipping meals. But if I'm not consistent in making sure that what I'm putting in my body is healthy, then it doesn't do what I'm wanting it to do. Like I'm a meal skipper. I get busy with stuff, or I get tired, and like I'll eat when I get up, I'll eat in a little bit, and I tend to skip meals. Not that I do it on purpose, it just happens. And then at the end of the day, I feel run down, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I feel like shit because my body is depleted and it needs things. So, what's the first thing you do when you get hungry and you haven't eaten all day? You snack on the first thing that comes by your mouth. I mean, you literally like whatever you can get your hands on, and it goes. It's usually junk food, carbs, chips, sugar, snacks, stuff like that. And that's not good. So, when I started working on my nutrition, on my diet really, and making sure that I'm not skipping meals, I literally am like, oh, I need to eat. It's not good stuff. It's chips and sugar stacks. So, I have to be more consistent in making sure that not only am I eating throughout the day, but it's healthy stuff. Like, you can still have stuff that you can eat real quick and it can be healthy. So, consistency isn't just by itself. Like, you can't just be consistent and make sure you eat all day. Like, you have to be consistent in the good stuff. I've also figured out that goes hand in hand with the people that I allow into my life, and the people I allow and the things that I allow to go on at my table. A mentor of mine said, who sits at your table matters. That's your table. You control who sits there, and you control what goes on at your table. And I have consistently allowed people to dictate what my table looks like, how it's set, what goes on at my table. I have allowed other people to come in and just take over and do what they want to do and treat me how they want to treat me, instead of, consistently standing up for what I want. And, I acknowledge that, and it's hard. It's hard. I went through a loss last week, and my coach asked me, I said loss is painful, but I know that on the other side of that pain, there is a lesson, and on the other side, I'm going to be stronger. And she asked me, she said, what are 3 things that you've learned from past pain? And my first thoughts were, I've learned not to trust people. I've learned that bad things always happen. My laptop just snorted at me. um, my first thought was negative, the bad lessons, and not the good stuff. And it took me several days. Like, I still haven't responded. Like, this is basically, I'm sorry, Jill, this is my response to you. But I still haven't responded because it's taken me almost a week, literally 6 days, to figure out what the positive lesson in that is. And so, just to kind of explain the loss, I didn't lose a relationship, I didn't lose a person, but I lost an idea and a thought, a perception, I guess, of a relationship that I thought was something and it wasn't. So my best friend has been keeping things from me, and this isn't like make or break. He's not cheating on me or anything like that, but it's like some serious medical stuff that's going on, and he hid that from me. He kept it from me. He was like, I didn't lie to you, I just didn't tell you. That matters to me. This is serious stuff. Like, we're supposed to be ride or die, and we're in this together, and you're always there for me, so why can't I be there for you? And he told me, well, you've got so much going on, you can't really do anything for me right now, and you've got so much stuff going on, I just didn't want to worry you. Well, that's not your place. Like, I was really, really offended and upset. Like, I was pissed. Okay, not gonna lie, I lost my shit. Completely flipped out. Like, I was mad. Because, first of all, you don't get to tell me what I can and can't worry about. Second of all, you don't get to know everything that's going on with me and my kids and then hide things from me. And third of all, I don't even know what the third of all was, but I'm pissed. I'm still upset. And I wasn't upset because you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Like, either we're in it together and we'll ride or die, or we're not. And it's funny because he literally this morning made a comment about, we were talking about money, and he was like, well, and I was like, whoa, now we're in this together? But when it comes to, your medical stuff that's really serious and not only impacts you, but will impact all of us potentially, depending on how it turns out, and we're not in it together there, you're in it by yourself. But then when it comes to this aspect of our relationship, we're in it together. No, either we're in it all together or we're not in it together at all. Because I can do bad by myself. I can figure out shit by myself. And if you want to go be a lone musketeer and deal with all your stuff by yourself and isolate yourself and then be upset because nobody cares, then you can go do that on your own. But you're not going to do that in this relationship, so you need to make a decision. And then we had the whole discussion about, should we break up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I don't want to break up. I am telling you this is how I feel, and we need to work on it. But it has to be your decision. So we're either going to get it together or we're not. And if we're not, then we need to be having a different discussion. And it was hard because I love him with all that I am, but I have to draw that line. I have to, because that's important to me. And I can't sacrifice that. If you want to be a lone wolf, go be a lone wolf. But you're not going to be a lone wolf part of the time and then come be in it together with me the rest of the time. It doesn't work that way. It's all or nothing. And I had to set that boundary. And it was hard for me. It was so hard. And I didn't even realize when I first was mad. Like, it took me a couple of days to be able to figure out exactly why I was mad and exactly how I wanted to phrase that and what I wanted to do about it. Because I am I have a short temper. And when I get mad, I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. You know, I don't have time for this. Like, I have other things going on. I don't want to deal with this. I'm a very like, whoop, nope, not dealing with that kind of person. And I have to really stop. I have consistently ran from things because trauma has been so inherent in my life that I'm just so freaking tired of it and I don't want to deal with it. I'm just like, you should be able to read my mind and know how I feel, and I don't want to deal with you right now. And then there's times when I'm so upset and it's so hard for me to sort it out and figure out exactly how to express what I'm really feeling, that it may take me a couple days. And it took me a couple days. And I'm with the kind of person that he wants to talk right now. No, I want to talk right now. And I'm like, nope, I can't. I need to get this straight and you need to stop. And so those are boundaries, and that's hard for me because I've never set boundaries for myself. And so for me to be able to take the couple days that I needed and then figure out exactly why I was mad and explain it and set the boundary, that is huge. Like, that's huge for me. And I'm telling you right now, if you are not consistently setting, and see, that's another thing, consistently. I would consistently set boundaries and then not uphold them. Or sometimes I wouldn't even set the boundary because I already know they're going to violate it, and then I'm just going to be like, oh, well, and they're going to make excuses, and I'm going to be like, whatever. So I don't even stand up for myself. Consistently letting people walk all over me, consistently letting people tell me how I should feel, and consistently not sticking to my boundaries. So I'm being consistent, but I'm not being consistent in the right way. So now for me to set that boundary, and I'll tell you what, if you are not used to setting boundaries, it's not easy. You have to take a minute. And that minute may be a few minutes, because it may be something simple like, oh, I don't want you to touch me. Don't touch me. That's very simple. That's a very simple boundary that can be set within a minute. Ooh, I don't like it when you touch me like that. Don't do that. Super simple. But emotional boundaries are a little bit harder because you have to make sure that your motivation is accurate and pure. You know, you're not coming at it from, I'm going to get even, or out of spite, or just to be a bitch, which I've done in the past. You have to make sure that emotional boundary, so take a couple days. Just be like, look, I'm not really sure how I feel about this right now. And because I love you, I want to make sure that I can voice this in an accurate way that doesn't destroy us, where we can grow. A great technique that I've learned is, I value our relationship so much that I don't want to talk about this right now. I need to take a minute. Or like with my kids, I'm like, whoa, I need a mom break. I need a minute. You know, and take that couple of days and figure out what actually set you off, what triggered you, where you want to go forward with that. And then once you set that boundary, if you're a person like me who is not used to setting boundaries and you set that boundary, it is absolutely amazing. So when you set that boundary, it is just liberating and it is so refreshing. But you have to stick to it. You absolutely have to stick to it, because if you don't stick to it, then it's kind of pointless and it kind of defeats the purpose. So you have to be consistent in that boundary. And it's so amazing because even today, almost a week after, you know, we're coming up on the week since all of this happened, and I figured out that I am sticking to my boundary, because even this morning I was like, whoa, no, you can't have by yourself in this aspect, and then today you want to be in it together because it's something different. And I told him right in that moment, I said, whoa, this is what we talked about. This is my boundary. This is what I expect. Because this is my table. This is how I want to live, and this is how I want to be treated. And it was amazing. It's something that I've never done before, and it is the greatest feeling. I can't even tell you how amazing it was to sit at my table and decide that this is my fucking table and you're not going to act that way at my table. So, my biggest takeaway this whole entire week is about consistency at my table and consistency in the good stuff and making sure that I'm doing what I need to be doing and what I want to be doing. And to answer the question from my coach about the lessons that I've learned from pain and loss, I think that the biggest thing that I've learned is to have faith in me. To have absolute faith in myself. And to have absolute faith in God. And that He is never going to give me more than I can handle. And all the stuff that I've been through, I have literally been, at my lowest, I've been strung out. I've wanted to die. Not actually trying to die, but like just not caring. Just didn't care if I made it through. And I did make it through. There have been times where I've wished to just be gone. Maybe not dead, but just not where I was, not how I was. And I survived it. Like, I came out the other side. And all that time, and I remember vividly screaming up at the sky, why did you do this to me? Why? Why is this happening to me? And, I still question sometimes why things happen to me and why I went through some of the stuff that I have. But I have to have absolute faith that I am strong enough and that there is a purpose. So I guess that's kind of 2 in 1. It's that I have to believe, I believe that there's a purpose. And I believe that I can do it. I believe that I'm strong enough. No matter what comes at me, no matter what happens, like, I can do it. I can make it. And then, not giving up. That's my biggest lesson, is not giving up. Because every time I want to give up, if I tell myself just a little bit further, and then when I get that little bit further, just a little bit further. Because every time that I go a little bit further, I get a little bit closer to coming out the other side and a little bit closer to where God wants me to be. And that's what matters, not giving up. So if that little bit is all you can do today, then that's great. Do it. Because after that little bit, you're going to see that you can do just a little bit more. It only takes a little. Just a little. Because once you see that you can do a little, you can do a little again. It's just like with mental health, when you with depression and you're overwhelmed and you're, sorry, my child is, did you cut yourself?
Oh shit.
Oh, come stand right here and I'll put a Band-Aid on it. So when you do just a little bit, oh, she nicked the back of her knee. Oh, that's like the worst place. There.
I didn't even notice.
Oh. So, what was I saying? Okay, so when you do a little bit, okay, so I have depression and anxiety. I get really overwhelmed with big tasks. So the apartment is all trashed. There's me, 2 preteens, and 2 big ass pit bulls in this little tiny room. So the apartment is trashed probably 90% of the time. And it's not that like we're dirty people, it's just cluttered. There's not place to put everything, so it's just clutter. So I get really overwhelmed very easily and I have to break it down and do just a little bit. Maybe I'll just pick up some trash. Maybe I'll just pick up the kids' dirty clothes. Maybe, just a little task. Just, clean out the sink. It's just the little things. If you can do a little bit, that's huge for you. And that can make you feel amazing because you can look at that, just the sink, and the sink is all clean and you're like, oh my God. And the feeling you get from that actually encourages you. It releases dopamines in your brain and it encourages you to do more. Even if it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. All you have to do is push just a little bit. So, I don't even know how to summarize because I'm rambling and I completely lost my train of thought because the kids are home and I'm a little distracted. So, but I hope you guys got something good out of that, and I hope that, Emma's waving hi. I hope that you guys, Jill, I hope that I answered your question, and, I love you guys. It's amazing, the support, and it's just amazing. Everything is amazing right now, and it's not even, it's freaking amazing, guys. The breakthroughs that I'm making are so huge, like so huge. So another thing is I haven't been consistent in trying to download the app that I was having problems with for my coaching program onto the kids' iPads, but the school has it restricted for some reason. I don't know, some setting thing. I don't know. So I'm just gonna do a YouTube video every day and post the link in the group, and that way kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm posting on my channel and doing what I need to be doing for me, and see, even the dogs agree. I'm doing what I need to be doing for me and for the group and for, the public and my viewers. So I love you guys, and I'm going to go figure out why the dogs are yelling at me. Have a good night, guys.